Today, we become legends.
Hey, my name's Inta, and welcome back to the channel for some Smite 2 Open Beta 7 data mining. There's some new items, a VXQ slot that is going to be used for some weird stuff by the sounds of it, some Kali ability information, a little bit of stuff on Hastur as well. As always, data mining just provides early insights into what Hi-Rez is working on. Sometimes it can be inaccurate. Some stuff that appears in data mining never makes it into the game. Some stuff that makes it into the game never appears in data mining, all that kind of stuff. So take it with a grain of salt. Usually a lot of it is pretty accurate, but it's not always. It's just a little early look into what Hi-Rez is currently working on within the game. But without further ado, let's just jump right in. So as always, the pink stuff is the new stuff. A lot of the stuff in white is from previous data mining posts that we've probably already covered on the channel, so we'll mostly be covering the pink stuff. So first up, some bundles with an unknown name, a big bundle of Ascension passes, diamonds, and bonus skins. So this is pretty interesting. You know, maybe they're doing an ultimate Ascension pack or something like that, where you get every single Ascension pass for every god. I assume if you buy this, you know, you'll probably get refunded for the Ascension passes that you bought. But also apparently comes with diamonds and bonus skins, so maybe it's not just an ultimate Ascension pack. Maybe it's, you know, like a bigger bundle that you buy that also gives you like a big burst of diamonds and some amount of skins as well. You know, more so like maybe a starter pack for the game or something like that. You know, if you already own a Founders Edition or whatever, maybe the Founders Editions will go away at some point and then this will stay in the game or something like that. Kind of interesting. A lot of people in the community have been asking for an ultimate Ascension pack, you know, a way to kind of just buy all of the Ascension passes in the game for a bit cheaper than buying them all individually. I would expect this to be pretty high priced though if it does come with every Ascension pass forever, because the Ascension passes themselves are, you know, I don't know how much they are actually. They're probably around 1,000 diamonds, a little bit more maybe. And so if there's going to be, you know, like 130 gods in the game, it probably wouldn't be 130,000 diamonds, obviously. But, you know, I probably would expect this to be pretty expensive if they do an ultimate Ascension pack, especially if it comes with diamonds and bonus skins as well. There's also React Quips, a set of 6 quips for you to equip to the new VXQ slot. So it sounds like it's going to be kind of like reactions, you know, almost like kind of the way you use global emotes at the moment, especially with the new slots that you can get in the support store. You know, you can have 4 global emotes equipped at once, and you can kind of use them as like reactions to things that go on, you know, like the Humbat side eye for when someone misses an ability or whatever. It sounds like these might be quite similar, and you could equip them to this new VXQ slot. You know, maybe they'll be audio, maybe they'll probably be audio, I would imagine. You know, it's a quip, and also we've already got the global emotes for kind of like a visual reaction to stuff. Maybe these will be audio things that you can play. Not entirely sure. We'll have to see when this eventually does come to the game, but that's pretty interesting. You know, multiple extra ways to kind of react to what's going on in the game. That's always funny for content. A new event in OB8, Flora. Finish all 3 quests to receive the Goblet of Flowers Ward skin. The gods bring forth a festival to welcome the new season, but not all agree on how it should be celebrated. The gods now turn to the mortals. Will they help Aphrodite cultivate love and beauty, or give Bacchus' temptation for drunken mayhem? So yeah, another event in the game. Sounds like it's going to be somewhat similar to the Eclipse event that we had recently. It might still be going on, actually, the Eclipse event, where you can kind of like choose a side. Do you help Aphrodite? Do you help Bacchus? And it's going to be an event with a ward skin as a reward. A clown chest is now in the files, so there might be some clown skins coming at some point potentially. Also an Achilles skin, Soul Piercer. This is going to have prism recolors, so this might be coming you know, at some point fairly soon. It says unknown patch. We don't know when this stuff is going to be coming, but a new Achilles skin in the works with prisms. Also Guan Yu unicorn with prisms as well. I assume this is the ported unicorn classic skin, so it seems like this is going to have recolors as it comes in, kind of like Thanatos did in terms of like a classic skin with prism recolors when it comes in. And of course Guan Yu is launching pretty soon, I think after Kali, so about 3 weeks-ish from now we'll be getting Guan Yu, so the skin will probably be launching relatively soon after that. There's some new items as well that have been data mined. Maybe these will be coming in OB8. They kind of seem like they're leaning towards the kind of specialization patch that's going to be happening in OB8, so these might come in OB8 or maybe OB9 or something. So first up we have Ancient Signet, which abilities deal bonus magical damage. This is 50 plus 10 per level with a cooldown of 20 seconds, but the cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds for every minion kill or assist. So if you do wipe out a whole wave, you're going to get 12 seconds off of this. It's going to effectively have an 8-second cooldown if you're doing it like, you know, after clearing a wave or whatever. Like probably going to be a pretty good soul in item, I would imagine, because it is a flat amount of damage. It doesn't scale with strength or intelligence or anything like that, so it probably will be a tank item, probably going to be good for the soul, and maybe even decent for supports. You know, they can just get a little bit of extra damage out as they like poke. Rage is also going to be coming. You all know Rage if you played Smite 1. It was a bit of a fan favorite Chris item. So god kills and assists get an additional crit chance. Getting a kill or an assist gives you 1 stack. Each stack provides 5% crit chance. Stacks up permanent stack up to 4 times, so you can get 20% crit here. And I imagine the base item will probably have something like 20 or 25% crit on it. You know, that's kind of how Rage always was in Smite 1. It's like not too much of other stats. It'll probably have like relatively low strength and no other stats, but it probably is going to end up giving you, you know, 40, 45% crit chance, or maybe even 50 or something like that. Tier Thing is another new item. Basic attack deal bonus physical damage. This is 15 bonus physical damage, but hitting a god increases the damage this deals by 15 for 4 seconds, stacking up to 3 times plus 1 per 10 levels. So at level 1, this will be at stack 3 times. At level 20, it'll be able to stack 5 times, giving you that bonus damage. So basically rewarding you for hitting consistent basic attacks. And this sort of seems like it's like playing into what they were talking about with the specialization patch and kin size. It sounds like maybe kin size is going to be shifted much more towards like being heavily anti-tank, really good at being an anti-tank item, but not very good at hitting squishies whatsoever. You know, it might even be that it does no damage to targets below like 2500 health or something like that. They might even go that far. But yeah, it seems like they're going to specialize kin size into more sort of like a really heavy anti-tank item that's pretty useless against squishies. And then they're going to add in items like this are going to be a little bit more tailored towards squishies because it is a flat amount of damage rather than percent max health like kin sizes. And of course, we still have Braggy's Harp as well that exists at the moment. So if you want to go like a crazy on-hit build, you could have this and Braggy's Harp, or, you know, you want to throw a kin size in there to be a deal with tanks in an on-hit build, you can do that. The new VXQ slot to equip quips, dude, that's hard to say. A bundle is defined above in the cosmetics unknown amount of slots. So yeah, we talked about this already. It's just the equips that are going to be coming to the game. New VXS. I'm not sure if this is old enough to consider it's discarded, but apparently there's a configuration for VXS sound emotes too, up to 4 slots. Yeah, this sounds like maybe if he's mentioning about it maybe being like discarded or whatever, maybe it's been in the files for a long time and nothing's been done with it, so maybe they just moved it to VXQ instead, because I imagine the quips are probably going to be sound-based, so maybe they just moved it from VXS to VXQ when they renamed the system quips. That's kind of what that sounds like to me. Tiny bit of Hastur information as well. We still don't really have anything for him yet, but his ability 1 is using Kukulkan's 1 as a placeholder, so, you know, some kind of line, maybe a line that has an explosion at the end of it or something like that. Usually they do this, you know, they kind of take a base ability from a god that already exists that will be kind of similar to the design, and then they kind of work off of that and build from it, you know, kind of use it as a testing ground. So it will probably be some kind of line projectile, maybe with an explosion at the end of it. And yeah, there's still this little bit of information on Hastur that we got a long time ago. Immortal and immune to knock up slows and roots. I don't know if I trust this though, because this is just a description of Kali's ultimate. I'm not really sure why this is here. It might have like just accidentally gotten placed under Hastur, unless maybe, you know, they're using Kali's ultimate as a model for him and it will have some kind of immortality. You know, kind of like they're using Kukulkan's 1 as a placeholder here. Maybe they're using Kali ult as a placeholder here and he will have some kind of immortality built into his kit. I'm still not entirely sold on that though, you know, just based on the fact that Barry has death resistance in her kit and she was released very recently. I'm not sure if they would do another death resistance god right after. Just a quick update on the 10th of February bug, I guess. I do this pretty frequently just for the people that don't watch every data mining videos. So there were 10 gods leaked basically on the 10th of February. We got in-game models for them leaked, so they were already kind of like in the game, you know, probably not fully made or anything like that, but their models were in the game. Of those 10, we already have Cerberus and Merlin that released recently, and then the next 3 we already know are officially confirmed from high-res. It's going to be Kali, and then Guan Yu, and then Apollo, and that order. And then there's these 5 left over that, you know, probably a decently high chance of being the next 5 gods, basically. Maybe not definitely the next 5 gods, but just based on the fact that they were already in the game files, they already had in-game models. They're probably fairly far along in development compared to other gods. And those are King Arthur, Horus, Rat, Scylla, and Sun Wukong. So it's pretty likely that, you know, some of these 5 gods will be in like the next god-like roadmap that they give out after Apollo, or after Hastur, I guess, because I'm pretty sure Hastur or whatever the next god will be coming after Apollo. Moving into the god release schedule, there's a little bit of an update here. So Ganesha has actually been added for Open Beta 12 Plus with a 30% chance. So he wasn't in these leaks, but, you know, maybe they pushed forward Ganesha a little bit. Pretty fundamental support, in my opinion. It'd be good to have him in the game. So there's 30% chance of Ganesha, apparently. King Arthur is still at a 10% chance just because of how hard he is to implement in the game. And then Wukong's actually gone up to a 30% chance as well. So it seems like Ganesha, Wukong, also Scylla's at a 60% chance as well. So, you know, that to me, if these numbers are relatively accurate, you know, if it's based on how far along they are in the files, how much information we have for them, you know, maybe Scylla will be the next god after Hastur in Open Beta 12. There's some Guan Yu kit information as well, but we talked about that in previous data mining videos. I'll link the post down below if you want to check that stuff out. But we have some Kali kit information that is new for this one. Obviously, Kali going to be the next god we'll start getting official information on her pretty damn soon. Actually, probably in about a week from now, we'll start getting official information on Callie because she's going to be launching with the next patch. So passive, Mark for Death, again, penetration against that guard, kills and assist, restore X health, assist, restore X health. You can get X gold bounty. Additionally, basic attacks on most abilities apply rupture to enemies. Each stack decreases their protections. Okay, so some kind of new mechanic there. You know, the rest of this is all the same, but yeah, applying rupture to enemies, decreasing their protections. That's a new mechanic for Callie, probably going to be her +1. If a marked target dies, the enemy god closest to Callie becomes marked. That's normal. You can use the interact in the fountain to change your marked target. So yeah, again, that's relatively normal, but I guess you could call that a +1. You know, previously your target would have to die, or you would have to die for you to change your target, whereas now you can back and use the interact key in the fountain to just select any target you want as long as you're in the fountain. So I guess that's a +1. Ability 1, Ceramic Circuit. I guess they're renaming all of her abilities because this has Trophy Hunter as well. Maybe they're renaming some or all of her abilities. This was Nimble Strike before, and this was Lash before, so we'll see. So Leap, dealing damage when landing, heal if this landed on an enemy. If you landed on an enemy god, heal 10% of the missing health. This is all normal. If you landed on multiple gods, restore based on the one that would heal you the most. I'm pretty sure it was the one closest to the center in Smite 1, so that's a small little change there. You'll get the max value of healing all the time. And this will also apply 3 stacks of the Rupture from the passive. Everything else seems relatively normal. Strength scaling, obviously, I don't think Callie's going to have any intelligence scaling. It wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense for her. The ability 2, previously called Lash, now called Trophy Hunter. 3 blades, each dealing damage and applying a bleed. That's all normal. Each blade applies 1 stack of Rupture. So again, tying that into the passive, it's going to be reducing their protections for each blade. Ability 3, stun enemies with incense, getting bonus strength and int. Okay, no, mind you, might have some int scaling. Siphon targets, dealing damage, int-based damage, and healing X health per hit, damage and heal increases per Rupture stack, consuming them. Okay, that's kind of interesting. You know, you would think you would want to kind of engage with the stun. That's usually what you do with Callie. You know, you would blink in and stun them, or you would like jump in and sort of like auto cancel into stun or whatever. Usually your stun is used quite early in your dive with Callie, whereas this is rewarding you for using it later in your dive because you want to get like, you know, the 1 on them, you want to get the 2 on them, get all those Rupture stacks, and then consume them for a larger amount of damage and healing on the 3. So it's kind of like a different way to use Callie's engage. You know, do you want to engage with the stun, which is usually going to be better? That's always how it's been in Smite 1, or do you want to try and like engage without the stun, save it, and then get more damage and healing with the Rupture stacks? Also, non-god targets with a stack of Rupture are damaged and restore health as if they had 3 stacks. This is very similar to Zeus's changes that he got in Smite 1, where, you know, he instantly applies all 3 stacks of Detonate to minions. Callie basically instantly applies all 3 stacks of Rupture to minions, so as soon as you hit minions, they're going to have max Rupture stacks. And then finally, her ultimate, become immune to death, displacement, slows and roots, deal damage nearby. If you're below 15% health, that's all normal. Each hit applies 1 stack of Rupture for the passive. And yeah, this is that immortal and immune to knock up slows and roots. That's exactly what was listed under Hastur. So maybe they're using Callie's ultimate as a model for Hastur, or it's just you know, a quirk of data mining and it's got nothing to do with it. But yeah, the ultimate seems relatively normal as well. I'm not sure why protections are listed here. Is Callie going to get protections during her ultimate? That's kind of crazy. Protection debuff 10 to 22. Protection debuff percent 10%. Maybe this is related to the passive. You know, each Rupture stack applies. There's no way each Rupture stack applies this much. Maybe it's like 10 at max Rupture stacks at level 1 and 22 at max Rupture stacks at level 20 or something like that. But yeah, I can't imagine this is just all stuff for the ultimate. You know, maybe this is related to other parts of her kit. Like this is probably the Rupture stacks. But yeah, there you go. That's some Callie information. We'll probably get official stuff on her in a full reveal, you know, in about a week's time or whatever. We got a little bit of early information. She's going to have this Rupture mechanic spread throughout her kit. She got a couple of other like small quality of life +1 changes as well. Also a little bit of int scaling. It doesn't say what the ult will scale off of, but you know, maybe the ult will have some int scaling because at the moment I think the 3 was the only one that was listed as having any int scaling. The 2 doesn't actually list it, just says scaling 70%, so that maybe could have int scaling. The 1 was specifically listed as strength though. It's gonna be a weird one for Callie to have int scaling though, I think, like gameplay wise. You know, thematically I guess it could make a little bit of sense, but gameplay wise it's probably gonna be a bit weird because you know, generally you're building Callie auto attack unless maybe there's an ability based build you could go with her, kind of like her old design used to be, and you know, maybe you go more intelligence if you're going for that kind of like ability based build. Maybe that'll be viable, but if that's not going to be viable and she's going to be an auto attacker, it's going to be very weird to have int scaling because you're going to want to just go strength for those harder hitting auto attacks. But yeah, we'll see. As I said, we're going to get official information on Callie relatively soon, and we can see everything that's going on then, rather than just this like unfinished information. But yeah, that is the OB7 patch data mining. Some new items, new systems coming with equips and stuff like that, Callie information, all that good stuff. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll catch you guys for another one later on. Have a great day, and peace out, you nerds.